So I'm going to be doing my 24 and 48 wrap up. So I forgot to link them below in my TBR, so I'm going to do that now so you can check them out and then maybe participate in the future if you'd like. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely way more laid back than Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I almost think that I like Dewey's 24-hour readathon better because there's like more, not that I need pressure to read, but it's more like, you know, Plus, I was watching Nicole from Nicole's Adventures in FFF, her live stream for a lot of the day. Since I don't have Twitter, that felt like I felt more part of the community. But anyways, so this is a DVR. Wrap up. So my goal was to read 20 hours, and I ended up only reading for 14 hours. But I'm still happy with that. It's more than half of the time. So pretty stoked. Hopefully next time I can actually meet the time goal. And I read a total of 605 pages, so I will tell you what I did now. I finished The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. I read 159 pages of this. This book was so good. It is, I don't even know how to describe it. So it revolves around, and you probably already know what it's about, but so there's an Earth, and then people from this Earth move to the moon. Like, they're consider themselves anarchists, and they colonize the moon. And so it's basically two different societies, one living in like complete capitalism where like a few people have everything and then the rest of them are very poor and have nothing, and then the moon where everyone kind of, there's no laws, there's no money, everyone does things for the benefit of others. It's so good. And then so in this world, and the main focus of the story obviously is one man from the moon goes to Earth. He's a physicist, and he's going for various reasons, but mostly because he's a physicist and he's trying to speak to other physicists. There's not a lot of people on his Earth, on the moon, that are interested in what he has to say. I thought this was so fascinating. The thing that upset me the most about it, though, was the fact that the people on the moon, even though there is no laws and no government, there still is like this human nature, this innate tendency to have power and control, and so you see a little bit of that. So it makes me sad because I feel like we can never. It's just hard because the main character, Shivek, he's very like naive, I guess, and very positive. Not positive, but he likes to think the best of people, kind of, at least on his planet. It's really good. It's a split narrative, so half, like every other chapter, they're always following Shvek, but it starts with him going to the Earth, and the next chapter is him as a kid. So it's basically one timeline following him growing up and him up to the point where he kind of like leaves, and then the second timeline is once he like is leaving and arrives on Earth, and what he goes through when he is on Earth. And I liked that. The only thing that drove me crazy was that I was so engaged and so involved in what was happening that once it switched to the different narrative, I was like, no, but I need to know what is happening now. And then the same thing would just happen with the other perspective too. So it was really good. I really, really recommend this. 4 to 5 stars. I'm pumped on Ursula. It was so good. The next thing that I finished was This Is How You Lose Her by Junot Diaz. This is my Dominican pick of the month. I don't have a ton to say about this. I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I read 83 pages. No, I read 93 pages of this and finished it. It's kind of, we follow Junior, and it's basically like a bunch of different short stories that are revolved around Junior, and different. Each story kind of follows a different woman that's had kind of an impact on his life. And then there's a lot about his brother and his family. And yeah, so it's good. It was a good read. I just didn't love it or anything. It didn't like speak to me on on a level that I was hoping it would. I think I was too hyped for this book, unfortunately. And there is a lot of like not great treatment of women in this book. I feel like a lot of people have issues with that. It doesn't like bother me very much because I know it's just a book, and I know that Junot Diaz doesn't actually feel that way. It's just like, So it doesn't really bother me, but if that kind of thing bothers you, then you probably won't like this because he is a big old slut and he sleeps with a lot of women and is not a great person. Then the next thing that I finished was 10th of December by George Saunders. I read 83 pages of this and finished it. It was so good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so, like, please go pick this up. This is what a short story collection should be. Each one is completely different from the next one. But you can tell that it's by the same author at the same time. He does incredible things with language. It's really, really incredible. My favorite story is the Semplica Girl Diaries. That one really, like, I felt things when I read that. That one was incredible. It's just written, the style of writing is very different. So if you're like kind of particular about the type of writing when you read things, then you might not like it because it's very simple and not full sentences, and just it's not very, like, not that it's not well written, but it's written as a diary. So the person that's writing it just has a specific, unique style that I don't think a lot of people would really like. I think that it worked really well for the story, and just the story in general was so good. Oof, buddy. The first one was really, really good too, Victory Lap, and the last one, 10th of December. Those, I think, were my 3 favorites. But Escape from Spiderhead was so good too. They're all really good. Just, I would really, really recommend you read this book. That's all I gotta say about it. The next thing that I read was Cocaine Blues by Carrie Greenwood. This was my booktube recommend for the month, and Tanya from Dispossessed recommended this to me. This was a lot of fun. It was a mystery novel. Our main character, whose name I don't know how to pronounce, but I think it's Fran Fisher. Ooh, correct me if I'm wrong. She's living in London, and she is kind of commissioned, I don't know if they even pay her, but she's asked to go to Australia to see what's wrong with this couple's daughter. She is very sick when she gets back with her husband, and so Miss Fisher goes to investigate, and then a bunch of different things happen. There's like 3, I think, different storylines and activities that are happening, and it's just so good. It was so much fun. It wasn't like a hilarious romp, kind of like the Quarantine at the Grand Hotel that I read, the Hungarian mystery novel, but this was like really, like, that was more kind of like this was more like just fun. Like, it just feels good. You're like, yeah, Anna figured out the thing, kind of. So that was pretty exciting too. The only thing about this though is that she is very, very rich, and she is just always wearing like fancy clothes, and so they talk a lot about the clothes that she's wearing and the food that she's eating. I really liked it. It was kind of like watching an episode of Gossip Girl or something, which I know is a total shit show, but every time I watch it, I feel like, yeah, you kind of feel inspired, not like, oh, my life sucks and, well, look what I'm wearing. Definitely made me want to go shopping, even though I have no money. So, yeah, that was a thing, I guess. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I read this whole book, and it was 175 pages. And then at one point I started reading this. I only read a chapter, read 13 pages, because I realized this was not good readathon material. And I'm going to actually save the rest of this book for next month for my French February nonfiction pick. I think there's a nonfiction book in there. So I'm going to finish this next month. And then I read 85 pages of The Stand, aka did not get to where I needed to be. I'm at 509 now. So I was supposed to get to 850. So I guess that's not that far behind. Could probably knock out a few pages tonight or tomorrow. This is getting intense. I'm very upset because there's only like one real woman, kind of. Everyone seems to be a man. There's like a really weak, pathetic woman, and then a really strong woman, and then everyone else seems to be men. So I'm hoping I meet more female characters in this. Also, I did read a hilarious, hilarious chapter in this that I almost want to make an episode and read about it. But it's basically, since if you don't know, this book is about like a super flu that knocks out basically the whole population, and there's just some people left. And so there's one chapter that's a bunch of different little stories about how these survivors have died. So one of them, let me think, one of them is afraid of being raped, and she's like so obsessed with the notion of being raped. And there's a man walking around, he's just drinking, he's having a good time, and he sees her and he's like, hey, like, you know, and then she pulls out a gun to kill him because she's so afraid that he's going to try to rape her, and then the gun explodes and she dies instead. So I was laughing. I know I probably shouldn't laugh at people dying, but it was a really, really funny chapter because most of them are kind of like, they got what was coming to them, if you know what I'm saying, except for one. The first one was really sad. It was a 5.5-year-old boy who fell in a hole and died. But most of them were really, really funny, and it was just so good. I don't know what was cut out of this, because this is the unabridged version, or like the uncut version. They made him cut out a bunch of this for the original release. So I'm curious as to what was cut from it, because it doesn't, I mean, it feels like good the way that it is right now. So anyways, yeah, I'm excited to keep reading this. Hope everyone's having a great day. Sorry, this video is super, super long. If you participated in the 24 and 48, let me know how you did. Link any videos that you made about it. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I might do a book talk specifically about the Dispossessed, so I can talk to y'all who have read it about it, because I just like need to talk to someone about this book. Like, woof, you know what I'm saying? Have a great day.